beginning, we just had to, reduce our headcount by 500 something individuals. So how are we going to handle these reductions? And these are the projects that we are now implementing, and all of these projects have now started, which is to help us figure out how to do more with less and be able to really herald ourselves as a very efficient organization. I mean, going into this year, DCF's administrative cost is 4%. 4%. I went back and I saw where it used to be 15%, right? And most of them, you guys who are providers out here probably aren't running on 4%. Now, granted, I got a bigger base, so I'll buy that. But we have dramatically reduced the administrative costs of DCF operations, and I think we can continue to do some more of that. Number one way to do that is with our people. We've got to invest in the people who are employees of this organization. And I think DCF is a little bit unique from maybe typical government workers in that the people who work in DCF, and many of you probably worked at DCF at some point in time, is you did it for a passion. You sure didn't do it for money, right? And so you did it because you wanted to make a difference in people's lives. And that's why people come to our organization. So one of the things I want to do in the HR strategy is get more people more opportunities to help people, and more opportunities to move around the organization, moving up and down and left and right, without having to redefine their roles every single time, without having to reduce their salaries if they want to go in a different position. People's lives change and they still want to be in service, but maybe you can't be an investigator, going to homes at 8 o'clock at night if you just had 2 new kids, right? So, everybody has life changes, and today, if that happens, you got to leave. And also, if people come and work for many of you, and want to work in your organizations and want to come back, we ought to be able to let people move across private organizations and public organizations, because we're all in the exact same business of trying to help people. And I think that helps us, and I think it helps you. And I think we can design a better model of how to do that. I went to, when I first started talking about this, I said, well, let me look at the strategy that we have today. I found we don't have a strategy yet. So this is where we're actually sort of creating this from scratch. But all of you who are in business today, know that if you're in a big corporation, you got a strategy of how to manage your people. So we're going to have that. We're also in the middle of implementing some shared service capability, which probably won't affect hardly any of you here, but it's really centralizing the back office stuff of HR, procurement, legal, finance, budget to Tallahassee. I think any of you on the corporation, you've already done that, and we haven't. So we can save a lot of money by doing that, and we're making that happen. And then substance abuse, mental health, and performance improvements is all about creating these regional systems of care for our substance abuse mental health programs. And this has been piloted for the last 5 years down in Tampa, where we basically took the function out of central office, moved it down to the regional level, and contracted for a third-party organization to really manage the network of providers and optimize the cost structure of those providers, and really optimize the utilization and services provided to individual constituents. And that has produced magnificent results down in the Suncoast region. So I'm now wanting to do that all over the state. And I think last week we announced the formal procurement here in this region to actually looked at hiring a third-party organization to provide this capability for us through this area. There's going to be a lot of noise about this. I'm already hearing it. Because one of the other things I've learned in this business is everybody wants to change stuff, but everybody likes it the way it is, right? Because at least you know what the way it is, and maybe it's bad, but at least you understand it, and you know how to work around it, you know how to work through it, and no one likes change, but they don't know what it is, they don't know what it means to them. And so we've got to communicate better from our side in terms of understanding the change, make sure you and all your other partners can understand the change and sort of how you have to change your business models and relationships to fit with these models, but I think that'll work. The fourth one is the treatment facilities. We have 3 mental health hospitals today that are run by the state. I came in wanting to privatize those last session. Representative Atkins wouldn't let me. But through that, the reason I wanted to privatize it is I saw what the private companies were doing, and the quality of care and the cost structures that they use. And I said, I wanted those in our other facilities. And through this process, and I'll give Representative Atkins some credit here, is we can now achieve that in our institutions that we have without privatizing them. And so that's the exercise we're going through right now. It's really more, it's not an exercise, it's a transformation of how we deliver those services in a much more efficient way. So I'm very proud of my organization in terms of their ability to step up and say, yeah, we can do this much more efficiently. And the fact that we challenge them to do it, and they're already proven that they can do it, I think is a real tribute to the public sector employees that are making that happen. So that's going to be a big change. And then the next one, which ties a lot to it, is our redesign of in essence, our bed management at a state level. I mean, today we have, literally today, this morning, we had 280 people that are in our institutions that would be better served in a community-based setting. And we can't get them out of there because there are no beds in the communities. And our costs are in the institution $70,000, $80,000 a year, something like that. And community beds are 20, 30, depending on the type of service, K a year. So significant cost savings, and of course it's better for the person to be closer to their families and their communities if we can create community settings to make this happen. So we're looking at, how can we better optimize the network, create more community partners. Hopefully some of you are in that business and would be wanting to engage in helping us make that happen. The next one, public assistance fraud, which I've now moved that organizationally. It used to be under our access program. It's a now separate program reporting to me. The CFO, Jeff Atwater, is also very focused on an initiative about Medicaid and public assistance fraud. And as I mentioned earlier, our eligibility being so online, where 70–80% of all our eligibility is done online without ever seeing a person, we have fraud potential that no one else has in the nation. And there are lots of better tools and techniques that we can bring to bear to attack this issue more aggressively. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to rethink how we're doing our EBT system, which has been criticized a lot. You've probably seen the story